Welcome to the channel. I'm excited to make these videos, and my idea for this series is to start off with the endings of the BPs I'm not covering. This is BP number 3, so let's recap the endings of BP number 1 and 2. This is BP number 1. A break of 5 made it. I missed it, so this is the field sprint for 6th place. And the lead out on the last lap was not well controlled because the break only had maybe a 10-second gap, so Cutaway didn't lead it out very fast. But Paul Davis on the left here dusts us all in the field sprint. I wasn't able to put out a great sprint on this one, and I take 8th. Top 7 get points. I'll go over the points and the who's who with Team Dynamics shortly. BP number 2. Not much got away in this one, and we have a pure field sprint. It was a very fast lead out this time by Cutaway. They kept the pace extremely high on the last lap. On the right, Taylor kind of cuts me off there, and I have to brake a bit. Not ideal, but I'm able to put out a really good sprint and make the pass for 3rd place here. Johnny's unquestionably the best sprinter here at BP, and you're not going to beat him when he gets dropped off first wheel through the corner like that. And that brings us to BP number 3. The pros are out in full force today. We got 2 of them here, so let's go over the point structure. But first, we got the first rule of BP, and that's don't be a D-bag. Yeah, that's it. Don't be a D-bag. And there's great news. If you are a D-bag, there's plenty of other races for you. Trade Zone and Greenbelt would be perfect for you. You'll fit right in. Under the points. First gets 20, second 15, then 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and nobody deeper than 8 is scored, so only top 7 gets points. So the incentive is to consistently finish inside that top 7. Fast start to this race. The Skyline Pro is already attacking up ahead, stringing out this race hard. I'm already doing like 700-800 watts in this guy's draft on lap number 1. So we do have the overall leaders through 3 races on the left here. Johnny, Chris, Nolan, Mike, and myself. Johnny is the only Cutaway on the overall leaderboard so far, so I know they want to change that. Get more guys on that leaderboard. And then Lucas, the Skyline guy, is caught up, and we all come back together, and he immediately attacks again on the front. So let's talk team dynamics now. I'm going to do my best to explain this as simply as I can with pictures, as if my parents are watching, which they probably are. Hi, Mom and Dad. So Cutaway is the strongest team in this race by far. It's basically their race. Every one of their guys is capable of winning any race, and they wear these pinkish kits. Johnny is their sprinter. He's first on GC, and he wears the leader's jersey, which has a number 50 on the back because this is the 50th year this race series has been running. And I'm sure Cutaway's #1 goal is to protect his overall lead. Next, we got Bike Fit. They wear these light blue and pink kits, and their leader is Chris Jones, who's second on GC. He wears this all blue kit. He's a 2-time national TT champion, so he's always trying to get away solo. Next, we got Sweet Spot in the black and dark greenish kits. They consistently have the largest team out here. Mike P is their sprinter. He's pictured right there. And then finally, we got the pros out here today's race. Lucas from Skyline and Emma Langley, the reigning U.S. Women's National Road Race champ. So hitters are everywhere in this race. And the name of the game is basically you want to have representation from each of these groups for a break to go. If you don't, then the team or the pros that are left out are probably going to put a lot of effort into chasing the break back. So did you catch the people that have gone up the road in this race so far? Let's rewind quickly and see if you can recognize the threat level. We got the Skyline Pro and 1 Cutaway that get away here. And then we fast forward a bit, and Chris Jones and Mike P from Sweet Spot get away here. So let's consult the threat meter chart. Is that breakaway a massive, medium, or small threat? You can pause and think for yourself if you need a minute, but I would say medium. And the reason being is, yes, all the teams are represented. They even have the Skyline Pro. But there's another dynamic to consider. Importantly, second on GC is in that group, and first on GC is not. And Cutaway wants to protect their GC lead. So they don't want to let Chris get away. I think that's a major negative factor against that breakaway. And the fact also that it's still lap 2 and there's tons of fresh individuals left in the peloton. Generally, moves don't go super early in crits. People are too fresh. So ultimately, I don't think this is ready to go yet. But if Johnny Fan gets in the move, then I think it's ready to go. So he's the guy to mark. But this is the calculation that we're doing as bike racers. Every time a move goes up the road, does it have the right representation? Is Cutaway happy with it? Is Bike Fit happy with it? Is Sweet Spot happy with it? Are the GC leaders happy with it? Is the Peloton fresh or tired? The more of those factors that are met, the higher the threat and the more likely that the break will make it. You can't chase or commit to every break, so you have to save your energy for when the threat levels are highest. And so on this move, George ends up pulling for an entire lap. But as you can see, no one is helping him at the front. And of course, how strong the breakaway is plays a role too. But far more important than that is who's left in the peloton that's willing to pull. You can very easily get into a situation where you only have a few riders pulling, and the rest of the peloton is sitting in because they're happy with the break, you know. Some solo riders ultimately pull that one back, so let's jump ahead to lap number 6. I'm following Emma's wheel, and she attacks on the left, and simultaneously Lucas from Skyline jumps to attack as well. So this is looking promising, but I don't think there's enough speed differential. Paul kind of jumped on the right as well, and so you can see Lucas looking back here, and he's going to shut it down now. The pace is going to slow here as nobody pulls through, but it is a good time to expect counters when the pace kind of slows like this and the people on the front are looking back. The Skyline Pro has been attacking a lot early on. I'm sure he's out here to get as good of a workout in as he can on the day. And we kind of get swarmed by Cutaway here with attackers on the left and the right, with a lot of guys following the wheels. So let's see how this one unfolds. Skyline to the right of me isn't showing any interest in chasing this one down. His body language seemed to suggest he's fine with letting it go. And you can hear me say, okay, finally. Guys are kind of looking around at the front. So I will go ahead and put some effort in and bridge this one back here. That was way too dangerous to let go. But you can see I kind of am hesitant to do any work, right? I'm always trying to get other people to do it if I can. That's the smartest way to race. Unfortunately, the name of the game is, the people that do the most work on the front ultimately end up losing the races. Half a lap later, and Emma throws an attack on the left and gets one Bike Fit rider to go with her. Sheridan right in front of me. I had good position. I thought about following this one, but ultimately I was a little bit indecisive and I let them roll away. So maybe a little bit of a missed opportunity. John Krugler comes flying by here right there with huge speed differential, and now it's starting to get a little bit murky. We have the two dominant teams represented with one of the pros, and neither GC threat is in it, and I'm kind of stuck on the front. I'm not really pulling hard, but nobody wants to pull through. Until we do get another Bike Fit rider coming to the front. This is Sam, but he's not really going to be interested in pulling hard with his teammate up the road. And we're not exactly going slow here, 27, and watch the attack on the right from the Skyline guy. That dude goes flying by. What is that, like 35 plus? And you can see Sweet Spot is bridging across on the left, and that's why I have urgency now when I say get on it, because all the teams were represented, both pros were in it, there were no GC conflicts, and so that's a big breakaway threat, right? But you can see the urgency here as we all kind of snap it right back. But just to comment again on that attack, that was impressive, and it just shows that, elite bike racers, they attack hard and they mean it. They don't care if anybody's coming with them, right? He barely even looked behind. And, he's making it up to that group ahead, no question about it. So this one comes back together, and we're going to jump ahead to lap number 10. I just want to show a quick clip of my teammates. We're not wearing the same kits yet. My kit hasn't even come in yet. They're both more breakaway riders, but this is Mike and Mike. And as this group is caught in front of us, to tell them it's a good time to counterattack if they want. But Chris took the opportunity on the left, and he's being marked heavily by Johnny. And this is a dynamic I want you to get familiar with. Johnny marks Chris very heavily throughout these next races. And this is a great strategy, right? This is number 1 and number 2 on the GC, and it's equivalent to Jonas Vingegaard sitting on Pogacar's wheel during the Tour de France, right? Once Jonas had the yellow jersey. And Chris isn't happy about it. I say he's getting mad there. I don't see on video exactly what he did, but I guess he was yelling or something like that. Jumping ahead half a lap, and there is a well-represented move up the road. I didn't see everybody that's in it. Sometimes when you're not at the front, it's hard to see, but I know it is dangerous, and Bill Evans in blue up ahead is putting in work to cut into this breakaway. Cutaway right behind him is not interested in pulling. You can kind of see him looking behind. And Emma Langley right in front of me is both really smart and really strong. She jumps around cutaway immediately and starts pulling this back. So I will gladly get in her wheel. How cool is it, by the way, that we have the national road race champ out here, by the way? It's pretty incredible. And she's such a nice person, too. The only thing that sucks about being behind her is she's so tiny. She doesn't give you much draft. I like being behind those, you know, big 6'4" guys. But yeah, I'm going to lead on her effort here. And, you know, this kind of race for her isn't even her specialty, right? Kind of flattish, crit, short course. You know, if we were to take her to the mountains, I'm sure she would destroy a lot of us, maybe all of us, where watt per kg is much more important than raw power. But Emma ends up bringing this one back. I can see GC leaders actually were in it. Both Chris and Johnny were in this move up ahead. So very thankful that she did bring me back here. Lap 13, I'm behind Bill, and we have great momentum on the right here. There is a small group of 2 up the road, but we are over 20 minutes in now, and this is a very common time for a breakaway to actually stick. You can see Bill working hard to bring these 2 back. I'm doing big watts in his draft. But I mean, yeah, guys are going to be tired at this point in the race, and it's very easy to lose your mental focus, right? Sometimes you just want to rest. You take a moment or two, and you're not paying attention, and then bang, there it goes. You know, the right composition gets off the front, and you're not prepared for it. So the pace kind of slows here. Good time for counterattacks, as always, once groups are being brought back. And there goes Brooke, and I'm going to hop on his wheel. Big effort to get on his wheel here. Brooke and I have some good history together. I moved to Richmond towards the end of last summer, and I hopped into the BPB races. If you don't know, this is the A race, which is open to Cat 1, 2, 3, and Cat 4 if you get permission from the organizers. B race is Cat 3, 4, 5. So Brooke was the B race leader when I joined up last summer, and we had some great battles. Because I came in and I beat him in a couple of sprints, and then he figured out, oh, I don't want to sprint this guy. So he started attacking every time I was out of position. And it was really fun, and it taught me a lot about how to race, because I had to sort of control Brooke and stay on top of my positioning. But ultimately, he did get away in some of those races, and I wasn't able to bring him back. So I learned a lot of valuable lessons. And in this move, it was just Brooke and I, but I don't think we quite have enough speed as we get caught here by the rest of the group. And that's it for this attack. And the pace of the attacks slow down significantly. Nothing really happens later in this race. So we go to Bell Lap, and Cutaway also starts to control the race if it gets late enough. Maybe with like 3 or 4 laps to go, they're racing for Johnny at that point. So it's hard to get away in the closing laps if Cutaway has enough fresh guys for the lead out. So you all kind of saved our energy and prepared for the final sprint. I was on Skyline's wheel, but I kind of got taken off. And now on this downhill, I'm going to try and get on Johnny's wheel. I kind of have a nice move to the inside here. You can see everybody moves to the inside on the downhill to block any dive bombers. And then they're going to swing wide to the right before taking this corner. And that's to prevent anyone from getting on our insides. So I do have great position here. I'm behind Johnny, Skyline. I got Noel on my right, another good sprinter. He's kind of fighting me a bit for the Skyline guy's wheel here. And he has his wheels in front of mine. But Chris on the right, I know what he's thinking. He wants to get ahead of Johnny here. He knows that I don't think he can beat Johnny in a flat sprint from the corner. Johnny's won the last 2 BPs, so I think Chris is trying to do something different this time. He wants to send it early and beat everybody to the corner. But there's a couple of problems with this. One is he's kind of forced to the outside line here, and the outside line is always slower. And 2 is he has the Skyline guy on his wheel. So we're coming into the corner here. It's a fast one. Chris is on the right there. He brought the Skyline guy into position. Johnny has such a hard 3-second pop, and he gaps me a bit here. We're weaving left and right. The fastest line is clearly on his wheel. Skyline's drifting to the right, so there's opportunity for me to go left. And I just can't do it, man. I was so close. I wanted that one so bad. I put out a really good sprint, but unfortunately, Skyline takes it down. I think if Skyline wasn't drifting right, Johnny would have won anyway because he had to check up on his sprint there at the end. But thank you so much for watching. Next episode I have planned is BP number 5, which is the deepest effort I've ever done on the bike. Hope you check that out. I hope everyone has a great day. Peace out.